some of the lesser known players in it. That's kind of cool in its own right.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. You know, Roddy's gonna know them maybe. That is if the streamers don't win, I guess. But for the other guys, right? Roddy's
Yeah,
gonna be like, yeah, I recognize that name, and then it's like me, you, and Roddy, and I feel like everyone else is gonna be like, so this guy.
I'll send out a memo for everyone.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
all right. This is Foxer. This is his history. He was born in this hospital. His shoe size is this. His dreams and aspirations when he was 7 years old were to become this career. He ended up going into this major. Yeah, I'll send out the memo.
Okay, good. We're gonna need it. In the bottom right of Golden Wall is the red Protoss MCanning.
And his opponent down here in the bottom left-hand side of the map, the yellow Zerg player. He goes by the name Starkiller, Team Alpha X Esports. Even repping that Alpha X Gold.
I was chuckling a little bit at the map because I know that weird things can happen here. Wasn't sure from who first, though. And Starkiller is the first one to do something a little bit weird. Goes for the gold, literally. And that is very easily scouted. You don't go, like, looking around all the other bases first when you don't see a natural.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, like, that is the funny thing, is that the natural probe scout will not spot it. But like you said, like, as soon as you're on this map and you see, oh, there's no natural, like, it's almost always just going to be at the gold.
Yeah, that's the first thing you should check. I mean...
Wait, did he have 3 sprays already? Wait, I thought the sprays were on a cooldown for a lot longer.
Well, they give you multiple sprays now, don't they?
But I actually thought you only had 1 spray during, like, the initial worker scout, and that you got a 2nd spray during it. But he has 3. Like, there's a cooldown on them.
All right. Well, I guess you're magic.
Did he figure out some hack of, or like not hack? That's not even the right word for it. But did he figure out with stutter step micro how to throw down multiple sprays? I'm so intrigued by this. I'm sorry. This is like one of my favorite things about Starcraft, is having sprays and just nobody uses them.
That's true. No one uses them.
But MCanning does.
Yeah, they're cute too. Like the Colossus is like sweating a little bit. Why is the Colossus sweating?
That's a good question. Water cooling, ZombieGrub. You think those thermal lances don't create heat?
Water cooling.
So I also want to really quickly throw back to the Thursday broadcast where we talked about the sprays and everything. And actually, Ryan said, like, we actually do have an imbalanced, like, Colossus that's supposed to be like the whole OP, like, pointing at thing, where there's basically an imbalanced Colossus. I think there's like an arrow with it as well.
I didn't know that. I'll have to check it out. But more importantly, Starkiller is going for a Ling all-in, which is not surprising at all. And MCanning should know this based off of, I mean, nothing really. I mean, yeah, it's great to scout the no third, and you get to see the Lings across the map, but I think he would also just already be on guard against Starkiller. Going for a Stargate, it should be popping on Oracle, but... Oh, he goes for Sentry instead. All right.
Yeah, okay, so the Sentry's going to be useful for force fielding and trying to get a little bit more energy, but I gotta say, this first gateway is the first target here for Starkiller. It doesn't have the most perfect area, but I actually think it's what allows extra units to get out of that other gateway there. So now we end up seeing the Sentry's going to be added in. Even if he breaks through this wall, at best, he snipes off the Cyber Core. But remember, there's even a force field left over. He can cut down the surface area. It looks like he's not even going to bother. He's not remaking the Cyber Core just yet, but he's already got up the Stargate. He doesn't actually need it that badly just yet.
Right, like, it'd be great to warp in maybe Adepts, for instance, when everything is broken down, but Zealots also in the pinch will do the trick. This has been an excellent hold so far from MCanning, but the force field does not come down. Barely got that gateway. Barely.
Might need the force field now. Oh my god, he cuts it close there. Oh, almost let some Lings in there.
Yeah.
It is. But okay, here's the thing, ZombieGrub. Remember how I told you Starkiller is self-aware of his play style and his mentality? He is the brick wall, and he will bang and headbutt his head into this until he breaks through. And it works. It works a lot.
I believe you. People have mishandled Ling rushes all the way up to, well, Neeb, for instance, against Idriling. So Well, that was Nidus Worms, actually. But point is, like, this is, you don't expect them to continue. They continue. Always a big surprise. You don't expect them to get a Baneling Nest. They get a Baneling Nest. Can be a big surprise. But, I mean, you know, I think it ended up being a good call not to get that Oracle. The Oracle helps, but then it runs out of energy, right? Where the Sentries, I don't know, could be, like, in a holstered a little bit more. Later on, they just accrue energy, too. And, obviously are very good. Like, Banelings cannot go through force fields. They cannot just wait for Oracle energy to burn out. Like, anyways, held off on the Oracles first. I thought was a bit risky. Turns out fine. Now he has 2 Oracles. Okay, now they'll be able to help out against the Banelings. They can target fire the Banelings. They don't care about armor. It's Pulsar Beam. So he could do that, or he could kill all the drones first. Again, maybe a risky play, but with force fields back at home, doesn't matter.
Yep, all the Banelings have been used up over here. Now, there is a hole in the wall now, so a lot of the Lings do manage to sneak on through because the gateway gets knocked down, not just the unit. They go straight over to the main base. The Oracles are making their way back, but they're actually out of energy. Well, only one of them has barely any energy to actually help out over here. MCanning is no longer mining, so his reinforcements are not going to be coming. Starkiller also sitting on a very low economy, but he has to do more damage than this. It's 9 workers left over Starkiller. He's killing off so many probes. He's actually going to bring this down to a nearly even economic situation. Are you kidding me? I don't know that that was enough, but he certainly makes it a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Well, you brought it up.
Oh my God.
Suddenly it works, doesn't it?
Oh my
And then
God.
suddenly it works. 38 probes, literally down to 1 single probe. Where are you, buddy? Where is that probe? It's not jumping towards it. Oh, I see it! Oh, he's locked in! He's trapped!
He did just make a worker. I built his natural in his main, so he does actually have more workers now. But he needs to recall that, right? Like, you're not even going to be able to afford making 2 workers at a time out of both Nexus right now. You're going to have energy building up. Recall it.
You're so right. You're so right. I think he has to recall it. I think that would actually be the best thing to do in the current situation. But I was laughing because it stuck. That's the only reason it didn't die. It was because it was stuck. Like, that's the only reason. MCanning letting those Lings in. I mean, he let the half in, and that was already bad. But then obviously no other thing. He had no more force fields after that. So the other Lings were also going to come through. I thought the Oracles using the energy offensively was okay, but clearly they should have been back at home. They could have been patrolling to see the Banelings, and then they could have killed the Banelings right off the bat, and this is not a big deal. They could have stopped the 40 probes going down. There would have been 20 probes going down if they had used all their Pulsar Beam to defend. Big mistakes here from MCanning, but at the end of the day, while the income got a little bit closer, at the end of the day, MCanning has units that Starkiller really struggles to work against. You know, Oracle's going to constantly swoop by and kill drones, and these Voideries even being microed against Queens, hilariously so. Voideries are so bad. And they're always going to be threatening.
But ZombieGrub, they got a buff. They move so much. Look at how much faster they move. Well, the transfuses are eventually going to run out over here, so... Well, MCanning might end up... Oh, okay, there's that speed buff kicking on in. He survives with all the Void Rays. Thank you so much, Blizzard. This is the buff we needed to finally beat Zerg. Look at all the drones transferring back to the main, though.
Did that actually go live? I heard it didn't go live yesterday.
Oh, it didn't?
That's what I heard, anyways.
Well, the Voiders feel faster, at least.
Part of the reason, like, one of the things that happened was like, wait, what about the new buff? And then Sinistro and someone else was like, oh, it doesn't actually get buffed. So I still don't know where we land on that one, but I don't know. The point is, like, they escaped. There's still 3 of them. And they killed a hatchery, guys. Like, you don't have to underplay that. They killed a hatchery. So Starkiller, I mean, they're both not fully saturated on one base yet. This is a stupid game. But Starkiller he doesn't even have another base to saturate now. That's a pretty big problem.
Okay, well, MCanning is going to come back to the origin of his sprays where he tagged that main base. He's going to snipe off overlords. That's not actually going to fly block Starkiller right now. He is getting a little bit closer to it. Snipe off the queen. There it is. GG. MCanning takes the victory in game number 1. What a game. ZombieGrub, MCanning might take that game, but that was the perfect example of what I meant by Starkiller finds a way. He headbutts and he headbutts until he makes his way in, and everyone's just like, but how? But why? That shouldn't have worked, but it does.
In that specific situation, it was not anticipating Banelings.
Well, I think to the credit of Starkiller, it was that there was a very obvious angle to move in from. and all the banelings were like looked like they were just going to go to the south side or like the center part of the wall. And as soon as the force field came down, he just right clicked on the other gateway and just bust open a path that I think MCanning wasn't expecting. I think that's what happened.
All right. I mean, I don't think you're wrong, but I don't know. I don't know if I can give a lot of credit to that, you know, like
It's okay. It's okay.
It's like, I don't know, it'd be the equivalent of being like, so the Dark Shrine wasn't scouted, but the key thing was that the DT killed a Marine instead of an SCV. And you're like, well, I mean, you know, that could have been a big difference, but also the Dark Shrine wasn't scouted, so this may have been the worst one.
No, of course. I'm not going to argue that, like, yeah, if you just react perfectly to that, like, of course you hold. But I do think it's one of those things that's like, oh man, he found like one of the openings. Oh god. And things just, yeah, they didn't work out. Like you said, he didn't end up seeing it coming. He didn't have the oracles back at home because he was moving across the map with them. He didn't expect like the fourth wave of lings to come out. So there we go. We move into game number 2 with MCanning still on a 1-0 lead despite all of that.
In the top right, it is the Blue Zerg Starkiller. Going for a 14 pool.
Tight. Down in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. There we go. Okay. Down in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have the red Protoss player sitting up 1-0. He is MCanning.
See, when I was over MCanning and you were like, yeah, MCanning still managed to be up 1-0. I was like, oh, I guess that was the intro.
Oh. No. I was just bringing us to the game. Sorry.
Okay, all right.
I didn't know that you thought so little of my intros.
Oh, well, I 100% just go with the whole...
Look at that starter step micro! Oh my god, it's so good!
Oh my god.
I've literally never seen someone do the stutter step spray micro where they don't cause any deceleration on the probe.
You know, deceleration is actually not a thing. It's just accelerating in the other direction.
That's not what my physics teacher... I mean, like, that is, in a sense, true, but, like, terminology-wise, my physics teacher used to say decelerate, so I'm actually okay with it.
Okay, well, let's not just say that all high school...
Decelerate is in Merriam-Webster's dictionary. So
What is the dictionary term?
It says to reduce the speed of, slow down, decelerate a car. To
Well, you know what?
decrease the rate of progress, or to decelerate growth, to decelerate soil erosion.
Historically, scientists and like literary, you know, majors, right, have had conflicts. Okay, literally on the two sides of your brain. All right.
Well,
anyways,
that's fine, but the scientists are right because they invented the words.
So then you agree that the acceleration shouldn't be a thing.
The scientists invented it, so it is.
No, they didn't. De-accelerate?
Decelerate, not de-accelerate. There's no A at the beginning.
Okay, that weirds me out even more. But the whole idea, though, is that a scientist wouldn't do it. Just because your physics teacher did it doesn't mean that science as a whole does it.
I'm pretty sure it does. Pretty sure physics teachers represent the scientific community.
So literally the only reason I ever bring this up, right, besides to be obnoxious, is that my physics teacher actually was a very, like, gruff and sarcastic dude, and I loved him. He was a great teacher, and he actually would always, like, anytime he used the word, like, accidentally, he would roll his eyes and then go on a rant about it for, like, 2 minutes.
That is fair. I do quickly want to note, MCanning saw, of course, like, the pool first opening and everything here from Starkiller. Starkiller is not an opponent that you don't scout, right? We saw that probe doing the 6 stutter step micro for the sprays. But MCanning kind of overreacting to it. As Starkiller immediately transition out, he's gonna, like, let's be very realistic here. It's Starkiller. He's gonna go for a later attack. It's still eventually gonna come, but MCanning ends up throwing down 2 very early shield batteries here. Delays a lot of his tech, delays getting up other gateway units and everything. So I think it's actually a really decent start here for Starkiller.
I'm not sure yet. The 2 shield batteries, clearly a cost that wasn't worth it right now. That did delay any tech. I mean, he had 250 gas before he decided to do something with it, with that robo. It is awkward for MCanning, but I'm not exactly sure that Starkiller got enough from the awkward opener himself. You know, it's not like he's ahead 5 probes. He's actually behind 2 right now. And he also didn't get a scout on what MCanning is actually doing. His overlord came in, and I don't know if MCanning was purposefully holding on to the robo until it left or not, but he doesn't really know what's going on. Oh, he did actually see the robo.
He did see the robo, yeah.
The natural saw it.
Okay, well, Lair's finishing up, and we got a Spire on the way here from Starkiller. MCanning did send out a hallucinated Phoenix Scout and saw gases in the main, saw gases at the natural, and obviously there's no gases at the third base just yet. It's pretty early on, and I think Starkiller could afford to mine gas from that third base just yet. There's another hallucinated Phoenix comes out. This could be the important moment that MCanning needs to realize, yes, there is going to be a Spire on the way. He's already going for out and moving out for an attack, so if this is successful when Starkiller's quote-unquote at his weakest is that Spire is still coming out, this could be a really big moment here for MCanning.
Yeah, if he doesn't get his army surrounded, well, it's a good force field. Looks like Starkiller's not going to try and commit to that. Where did that Warp Prism even go? Hello?
Oh,
there it
boy.
is.
Okay, getting us around on the sentries and killing the adepts and then forcing a recall on the stalkers, that was everything that Starkiller could have asked for. The only thing that Starkiller, I guess, could have asked for even more is that his Spire didn't get scouted by the hallucinating Phoenix, but I mean, that has happened, and now that Warp Prism is on the north side, it warps in 2 adepts to try and harass, but the Spire is popping. The mutas are about to actually come up, so that Warp Prism has a very, very shortened lifespan.
The adepts get in here for some damage, but I'm worried about what those 9 mutas are going to do. Stargates are finishing up, and it's going to be a very strong response to mutas, but this is one of those weird games where everything's happening so much quicker than usual. You know, the economies really have to be put into question here. So MCanning on 2-base saturation could afford this, but, you know, maybe not a lot of gateway units, for instance. Starkiller having just lost 8 drones down to 39, it's like, can he actually even snowball given a good start? And he's not even getting a good start. He's not even going across the map. He's dealing with the Warp Prism first and foremost.
He had to he recalled his Stalkers earlier, so he doesn't have recall for the Warp Prism. He's going to end up losing it and the Adepts.
Yeah, but I think that's worth it for time bought for the Phoenix.
Yeah, that's true. He's going to have his... Yeah, you're right. Actually, when you get up to 4 to 5, like the 5th Phoenix, it just feels like suddenly I can take on any number of mutas that are reasonable out.
Gotta worry about that ground army too. That's a lot of lings. Yeah, I think just canceling that. Yeah,
he's still an even worker counts and everything. It's not like a Starkiller's exactly got a 4th base or anything coming on up either, so... MCanning's got that first Colossus out. It's going to help out an extreme amount versus the Lings, but there are a lot of roaches in production now. Starkiller, he is not one to go for the 70 worker counts or anything. He is going to be sticking around on just 49 workers. The Lings managed to run into the main base. Oh no, MCanning letting them in. There's a cannon inside both of the bases though, and that is actually going to buy quite a bit of time.
Pretty important. I think a lot more probes would go down if this wasn't here. And it's not probes going down, actually. Nor is it the third Nexus. His Phoenix come in. Starkiller not paying attention as he was dealing with the Adepts over here. It looks like finally some probes went down to the Lings in the natural, but he lost his Phoenixes, or sorry, he lost his Mutas, which, yeah, he wasn't committing any more to it, but I think they still had a lot more potential had they just stuck around and come in. With this attack, for instance, he's preparing for a very upgradeless, basic Roach attack. Something that MCanning should have seen is an observer over the natural this entire time. And now it's only going to be about the attack. Yeah. MCanning can focus entirely on defending against this.
And the Phoenix are going to go 150% uncontested right now. They can just lift up any of the Ravagers that would be the only form of very, very bad anti-air here with Corrosive Biles. And then you just start picking up any of these Roaches. All he has to do, like you said, is just focus on this attack, utilize the Colossus to the best of his abilities, make sure these Roaches cannot close the distance, but even when they do, Shield Battery Overcharge should be available over here. Disruptor comes forward, and it is going to get a massive connection there. MCanning starts going up in supply. Even with the Colossus being focus fired down, this was very much so a committed attack here for Starkiller. He needed to get damage done. This was not the damage he needed.
That's amazing. It's, maybe if he goes back into Mutas? Like, no, it wouldn't work. The Phoenix are still alive. He has so much in the bank that the only thing he really could, like, afford that would help him immediately would be something from that Spire. And I think Corruptors are the best call. I mean, he can take care of the Phoenix with Corruptors, and there's one Colossus he could kill with the Disruptor, or with the Corruptor, sorry. The Disruptors can't kill Corruptors, touche. So, truly the proper response.
I saw them on the hard counter unit list in Starcraft's Prime official start strategy guide, but yeah, it is going to be the problem. Like, if you're investing into those Corruptors, you got nothing on the ground, Starkiller, and with Charge finishing up, with Thermal Lance finally kicking in for that one Colossus, and of course the Disruptor is still there, even DTs being added in. This looks like it is going to be the final hurrah here. Starkiller already down one game. This was a best of 3 with single elimination bracket. You had to win this one to stay in. And it looks like MCanning might very well be making his way further and further along in the bracket to potentially qualify for DreamHack North American Masters.
He's looking very good, man. MCanning's in it to win it. Starkiller doesn't want to tap out quite yet, but despite the supplies looking similar, it's not a close game at all.
I think you have to send the Corruptors across the map to start caustic spraying down every Nexus, right? That is literally the only viable solution that could even remotely turn this into a game, right? Yeah, you just have to go kill the Nexus.
True. I mean, Corruptors can do something more. Yeah, there you go. Here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Do it.
Don't send all the Corruptors here. Put like 3 and 3 on natural and main. Okay, I think he might be a little bit busy microing against Disruptors.
Yeah. Well, recall is used anyways. MCanning's gonna ensure that he has 3 bases to just 2.
Oh,
yeah, Corruptors need a little bit more time to actually kill a Nexus.
Yeah, I think if he had immediately had, like, which I don't blame him. It's extremely difficult when you're microing versus Disruptors, you're trying to macro out the units and everything, to have the game sense to be like, okay, oh god. Have the game sense to be like, I killed your Phoenix, immediately send the Corruptors across the map to go do damage or something, or like force you back. It's very unlikely.
Yeah. Well, that Disruptor shot kind of stopped before it started. Now he just finds the Ravagers that were forming to be buddies. Very understandable that Starkiller is not tapping out. Not just because it's the last game, but also because like it is still like a weird game. You know, third base was not mining, 12 minutes, main base is mining out, but the quality of MCanning's army is quite superior. +1, blink, charge, and of course those Disruptors. Starkiller. Well, now you gotta pull the drones, man.
Yeah, pull the drones into Disruptors. Not a fun thought.
Well, if they get us around,
That's true, you know, if they get us around. But if only Disruptors could damage other Disruptors. But there it is, GG. MCanning. Has this man ever lost a game after having 3 Disruptors out on the map? I think not.
No.
I think it's never happened in the history of mankind.
Yep.
Hot damn. Well, we were talking about how this